Hey everybody, welcome back to the second installment of the Halifax real estate market updates that I've been doing over, I guess this will be the second month. Oh, here we go. We got a little pop-up from the device encryption software. That's always great. So we're in January now, but I figured I'd go over the data from December 2021. Overall, a bit of a slower month, as December tends to be, with people gearing up for the holidays. Fewer people, are looking to sell, and we actually saw a decrease in showings from the month of November, which means generally that fewer people were looking to buy as well. Just if this is your first time watching this, what I did in the last video was I went over the first couple slides very in greater detail, explaining each data point. But along the bottom of the video, you'll see that each neighborhood is bookmarked. So if you have a specific interest in one neighborhood or another, then you can kind of skip forward to that neighborhood. So without further ado, let's get going here. All right, the Halifax overview. So on average, again, this is from Paragon. You'll see kind of on the bottom of the slide there. It's based on the Paragon stats for January 6th, 2022. So the average days on market was 22. Now, again, this is I would say that this stat has been skewed by some outlying data. Generally, any house within the HRM is staying on for about a week tops. Again, it's a very hot market with ever decreasing inventory. The average list price we saw across the HRM or Halifax Dartmouth region was $440,334. The average sale price was $475,804. And the list price to sale price percentage was 108%. So essentially what that means, that last data point there is, on average, if something was listed at X, it was going for 108% of that amount. So essentially an extra 8% of what it was listed at. All right, so starting off, Bedford. So this again is, I've gone ahead and shown you what the area I consider Bedford, which is pulled basically from Google Maps. I went ahead, drew an outline, and got the data for that section. So to start, the total sales and days on market were 26 and 7 respectively. And what that means is obviously the overall sales was, so things that were sold were 26, and then the average days on market, again, a week, right? So you've got some houses that are staying on a little bit longer than that, and some places that are staying a little bit less. Showings per listing and new listings. So the showings per listing, 17.5 per listing. That's a pretty strong number, right? If something's staying on the market for, 1 week, and we've got 20 agents and 20 families or 20 individuals going to buy that property, there's going to obviously be a high chance of there being a multiple offer situation, which is driving these prices higher and higher. In terms of new listings, we had 9 new listings. The sale price to list price percentage was 104.7%. Single family year over year percentage was an increase of 52.5%. So how we get that number is essentially December of last year. The number, this December, it's up 52.5% compared to December of last year. Now, when I was looking at the data, you get some months where you get kind of a bit of a moving zigzag graph. So the market obviously has been trending upwards like this for a while now, but different months are going to have different data points, and you're going to get the percentage to reflect exactly what's been going on when comparing those two separate months. The single family monthly comparison. So for single family homes, last month we had an average price of $640,500, and then this month of December was $716,750. Now, when it comes to condos in Bedford, the year-over-year percentage was 3.2%. So that's again up 3.2% from December of last year. When comparing December of last year to this year's prices, The condo monthly comparison was $279,500 last month, November, and in December it was $394,555. So yeah, so that's kind of Bedford. Now, now that you've seen this, if you're going to watch the whole movie, that's great. If not, then you can go ahead and skip along the bar to the section or the neighborhood that you're interested in. Okay, so getting into Clayton Park and Rockingham, I'll leave the map up there for a second. So the total sales and days on market were 23 and 7 respectively. Showings per listing and new listing 15.8 and 8. So similar to Bedford in that regards. Sale price to list price percentage 108.3% of the list price. Single family year over year percentage was an increase of 2%. Single family monthly comparison was $553,000 in the month of November, and in December it was $541,500 in the month of December. Condo year over year percentage, it was an increase of 53%, and the condo monthly comparison was $330,500 in November, and in December we had $353,500 in December. Okay. Moving on to Cole Harbour. Again, I'll leave that up there for a second. Just going to grab a drink of water here. Okay, so Cole Harbour had a pretty big drop-off when comparing activity compared to the month of November. So total sales and days on market were 20 and 4 respectively, so incredibly low days on market on average. The showings per listings and new listings was 18.4 and 14. So I think in the month of November we had significantly more new listings, but still they're getting a pretty high showing per listing rating there. It's a lot of families that are interested in that area as well. Sales price to list price percentage 124.9%. That's one of the higher data points when it comes to that category. And the single family year over year percentage was 27.7% up year over year. Single family monthly comparison $394,500 compared to $389,573 in December. Again, leaving out the condos here, there's just not enough data points to warrant actually putting that in the Cole Harbour slide. So Dartmouth, obviously a large area. When it comes to Burnside, I just include that in case there's some like a weird outlier, but generally you're not going to have really anything for sale out in Burnside on the residential side. So total sales and days on market 51 and 6 respectively. Showings per listing and new listing was 13.5 and 28 respectively. So this was obviously it's a large area when you look at the map and make the comparison. So you're going to get bigger numbers in Dartmouth. Sales price to list price percentage 110%. Single family year over year percentage 33.9%. Single family monthly comparison $401,000 in the month of November and $435,050 in the month of December. When it comes to condos, we saw an increase of 66.9%, and the monthly comparison is $380,500 in the month of November, $416,900 in the month of December. So again, just as a reminder, when we're comparing the year-over-year percentages, we're essentially comparing, in this case, December 2021 to December 2020. And that's how we're getting that kind of year-over-year percentage increase. Okay, downtown Halifax, obviously hardly any single families for sale down here, so I chose to omit them. Total sales and days on market, we had 3 and 25. That's, there's in the downtown core, there's quite a few luxury condo listings, and those tend to sit a little bit longer than more moderately priced ones, just because there's less there's fewer buyers in the higher price ranges than there are in the lower price ranges. So generally, when something is priced higher, it's going to sit a little bit longer. Showings per listing and new listings, we had 4.3 and 2. Sales price to list price percentage was 100%. The condo year-over-year percentage was 24.5%. The condo monthly comparison was $633,000 in the month of November and $600,500 in the month of December. Eastern Passage and Cow Bay. All right, so their month of November was incredibly hot, if you recall. December, things, I mean, they haven't cooled off by any means, but they definitely lost a bit of that activity. Total sales and days on market, 11 and 5, respectively. Still, obviously, crazy days on market here. We've got, with an average of 5 days on market, properties are moving quite quickly in that area. Showings per listing and new listing, 12.8 and 8, respectively. I think last month, again, those showings per listings were up in the 20s. So you can see that there was fewer people shopping around in that area, which may be reflective of the holiday season, right? Even although we've seen a drop of listings in December, due to people not, maybe wanting people to come through their house during the holidays, or they're gearing up for family coming in, or whatever it may be. We also saw a similar trend on the buyer side when comparing the month of November. The sales price to list price percentage, 112.3%, so still quite high there. Single family year-over-year percentage, 47.1%, an increase. And the single family monthly comparison, month of November, 325,000, and the month of December, 367,750. All right, Enfield. Again, the area kind of out by the airport. Really up and coming out there. So the total sales and days on market was 11 and 7, respectively. Showings per listing and new listing was 5.5 and 9. Sales price to list price percentage, 104.9%. Single family year-over-year percentage, 53.6%. And that's an increase. Now, just going quickly back to that last data point, the sale price to list price percentage. So if I'm a buyer and I'm looking to minimize the, I guess, effect that this multiple offer situation is having, that, when we're coming to, if it's 105% or less, that is something that is manageable in my psychology. When I'm going to make a bid, if I know I need to make a bid over what the asking price is, let's say there's 4 or 5 buyers maybe putting a bid on. For me to see a data point like that, 105% basically, that is something that I can draw on when submitting my offer to ensure that I am not going crazy over, like say, 115% or 120% of the list price. And I'm staying around there. Now, obviously, every house is going to be different, and you might have somebody come in that just slaps down a really high offer. But this is kind of the data that you can use in order to really help you when you're thinking of what is that number that I need to submit in order to really give myself the best chance, but at the same time not lobbing an offer out there that is like price way higher than the second in line or whatever it might be. So the single family monthly comparison, $365,450 in the month of November, and then month of December, $430,000. Okay, Fairmount. Hardly any activity here, as you can see. So they had no sales. I left it in because there was a couple showings of these houses. So there is, I believe, a house or 2 on the market in Fairmount, but they're priced higher. Obviously there's just not a lot of movement in that neighborhood. It's a beautiful neighborhood. Fairview. Okay, so total sales, only 1 sale in Fairview, month of December, which is pretty crazy. The days on market, 35. So there's obviously an outlier there of something that's been on the market for a bit. It might be priced too high, or maybe there's something wrong. I can't directly speak to that place because I'm not sure what house is actually causing, or houses are causing that stat to be so high. Showings per listing and new listings, 24 showings per listing, and new listings of 2. So, oh, I got the pop up again there. So this actually had me a little bit confused, because usually you correlate a high showing count with a high offer count, right? If a lot of people are seeing this house online and they're like, we got to go see it, then chances are you're going to have a significant portion of those people, especially in this market where it's incredibly competitive and there's not a lot of inventory, you're going to see a high level of them coming in and making an offer. Now, usually what occurs there is you're getting these higher offer situations, right? If you've got 2 buyers, there's probably going to be less of a price bump than if you have 10 buyers, just because the psychology of people makes them think that because there's more buyers, they need to really, really be different from everybody else, right? Whereas there's fewer buyers, usually that psychology doesn't come into play as much. Now, not sure what happened exactly here. It could have been that there was a high offer put in place, and then maybe an inspection came in. The buyers and the inspector found some serious problems with the house and was able to knock that price down. Or maybe everybody who did submit an offer just submitted kind of in that 100 to 105% range, and somebody got lucky, right? But that really did have me quite confused. So anyways, you're going to get outliers. It's a crazy market, and every once in a while there's going to be a data point that may not make sense. Okay, single family year over year percentage, 107.2%. A single family monthly comparison, $492,778 month of November, and as you can see, a huge jump up, $715,000 in the month of December. Okay, it's not wanting to skip here. There we go. Okay, Fall River. Fall River, I believe, took a bit of a slowdown as well when comparing to November. Okay, total sales and days on market, 10 and 10. Showings per listing and new listing, 2.8 and 3 respectively. Sales price to list price percentage, again, a more manageable 105%. Single family year over year percentage, an increase of 13.1%. Single family monthly comparison, November we're seeing 620,000, and in December it's $534,398. Hammonds, Plains, and Lucasville. Leave that up there for a second. I know it's a large area. So the total sales and days on market were 12 and 6 respectively. The showings per listing and new listing, 13.8 and 9 respectively. Sale price to list price percentage, 115%. So that's a higher percentage there, right? And that makes it a little tougher if you're a buyer and you don't really know what to submit. But at least you can kind of draw on these data points to see what happened last month, or really assist you in choosing that price point that you're going to go in at. Single family year over year percentage, 12.5%, an increase. Single family monthly comparison, $635,000 in the month of November, and in the month of December, $588,450 in the month of December. The North End, the NE. Okay, total sales and days on market, 8 and 8 respectively. Showings per listing and new listing, 12.3 and 3. So really low low new listings there. The North End had a month or two there where there was quite a bit that came on the market. But the land that is located on the peninsula is gold, right? And people, when they get that, they hold on to it. Sale price to list price percentage, 108.6%. Single family year over year percentage, we had a negative 27.8%. So again, we're comparing, this number is comparing what the single family home, what the average single family home sold for in December of 2020 versus what the average single family home sold for in December 2021, which was 370,000 right there. And again, that was the December average. In November, the average was $537,640. Now the condo scene was a little bit different. They had an increase of 26.3%, and the condo monthly comparison. November, we saw $315,800. December, $409,900. Okay, so Sackville / Beaverbank. So I'll leave that up. That's another large area. A lot of activity generally goes on. Sackville's there's been a lot of movement out in that neck of the woods. So total sales and days on market, 35 and 6. I think that was our biggest number in terms of total sales in the month of December. Showings per listing and new listing, 20.2 and 24. So that was also, I think, our biggest number. Sale price to list price percentage, 115.2%. So that's, again, a lot of people going to these listings in Sackville. And, I think what's happening is buyers are getting a little fed up with going to, 10, 15 houses, missing out on 10 deals or 10 offers, I should say. And they're willing to really kind of put their bank account on the line and bid as high as they possibly can to get these houses. Single family year over year percentage, 19.7%, an increase in single family monthly comparison, $412,900 November and $408,867 in December. All right, the South End. So total sales and days on market, 13 and 17 respectively. Showings per listing and new listing, 5.1 and 7. Now, the South End, obviously a higher priced neighborhood. Definitely one of the most affluent areas, probably in Nova Scotia. Well, in Nova Scotia, I would say. Now, something that reflects that is because generally properties are going to be priced higher, you're seeing your showings per listing is only 5.1 compared to, say, Sackville or Eastern Passage, some of these lower priced areas. And what you can correlate with that is that the fact that there's just fewer buyers in these higher price points, so it's a little bit slower. Now, if we move down to sale price to list price percentage, you see that reflected right there, right? 99.1% of the list price, which means people are actually getting, I think this is the only place in out of the neighborhoods that I've looked at and included in this presentation, I think that's the only neighborhood that has a decrease or a sub 100% sale price to list price percentage. And that's just because there's probably less people putting in offers and they're able to negotiate when it comes to actually purchasing the home. Single family year over year percentage up 50.7%. And this is definitely the largest number that I think is in this presentation. But single family monthly comparison, $865,000 in the month of November and $1,575,000 in the month of December. So the condo year over year percentage, 51.6%. Condos are much more manageable in the South End. There's only really a few areas that you can buy, but they had the new build down by St. Mary's University. And I'm not sure if they still have any available there, but there was a few that came on the market, I believe in November. But the condo monthly comparison, November we saw $380,000, and then December $488,000. Okay, Spryfield / Armdale, I'll leave that up there for a minute. Total sales and days on market, 25 and 6 respectively. Showings per listing and new listing, 12 and 15 respectively. Sale price to list price percentage, 105.4%. Single family year over year percentage, an increase of 39.4%. Single family monthly comparison, November, we saw $506,500. December, $499,000. Condo year-over-year percentage was an increase of 25.2% in the condo monthly comparison. November being $370,000. December being $367,400. So almost the exact same. So we just got to grab another glass of water here. So this one is Tantallon, Hubley, another pretty large area. Okay. Total sales and days on market, 6 and 13 respectively. Showings per listing and new listings, 7.6 and 2. Sale price to list price percentage, 109.5%. Single family year over year percentage, 12.7%. Single family monthly comparison, 558,000 in the month of November and $606,750 in the month of December. All right, Timberlea. So this is kind of the area in between Bears Lake and basically Hubley. So just kind of stretching almost parallel to the rails to trails pathway there. And the number 3. Okay, so the Timberlea Beechville stats. Total sales and days on market, 12 and 8. Showings per listing and new listings, quite a high amount of showings per listing, 21.4 and 8. Sale price to list price percentage, 107.1%. Single family year over year percentage was a decrease of 9.6%. And then single family monthly comparison, $422,500 in November, $445,000 in December. So going back to that previous stat of negative 9.6%, it's not like we're seeing a decrease year over year or even in general in any of these neighborhoods I'm going over. We're across the board seeing increases in prices. But when we're making that comparison, we're comparing what went on in the month of December last year to the month of December this year. So there maybe December this year was there was lower price listings that came on, whereas December of last year there was some higher price listings. In this neighborhood, you're like many neighborhoods that I'm covering, you're going to get extensive of they'll include, each neighborhood is going to include some higher priced properties and some lower priced properties generally. And that can occasionally mess the data up a bit where, you're just going to get higher priced stuff and lower priced stuff that sells in the same month in different years. And that will be reflected in that number. Okay. West End Halifax, another great neighborhood that's really been taken off here in the last couple of years. Total sales and days on market, 9 and 5. Showings per listing and new listing, 10.8 and 7. So the West End actually has a pretty low showings per listing when comparing to some of these other neighborhoods. But that's again because this neighborhood really has increased in price points. So you're having less competition. But that's a good thing for buyers in that price point. I mean, you're still competing against quite a few people, but as you can see in the sale price to list price percentage, 104.7%, it's much more manageable when setting expectations in terms of what you need to bid in order to actually get that house that you're looking for. Single family year over year percentage is a negative 7.7%. So exact same thing as the previous slide. Single family monthly comparison, $616,500 and $509,500 in December. All right, we're coming to an end here. Windsor, Nova Scotia. So again, I just included this, because there's more and more people that are moving from outside of Halifax who don't mind a 45, 50 hour-long commute into the city. It's really a great area, to be honest. Unbelievably beautiful there down in the summer. And you're like 10 minutes away from wine country, as well as Acadia University. And you're still only really 45 minutes, maybe an hour to the city. So, this is becoming a more viable option for some people who are looking for a property that's kind of got a bit more of a country feel with all the amenities that you would get in a large town. and yeah, everything you really need there. Okay, total sales and days on market, 22 and 22. Showings per listing and new listing, 7.1 and 10. So again, what we're seeing here is there's less, oh, this thing keeps popping up. Hopefully that was the last time. There's less people going to these properties. However, look at the price point, right? In a lot of areas around Halifax, these $300,000 priced houses have 20, sometimes a little above, maybe a little below showings, which is more than double this number. So, by making this assumption that the more people that go to these listings, the more offers that are going to come in, that's going to really affect, your psychology when you go to make an offer. But take a look at the number right below that, sale price to list price percentage, 100%. So when you're going to make an offer on a house in Windsor, yeah, you're driving a little bit farther away from the city, but you're coming in basically right around whatever that price is or that house is listed for, right? So if you are getting tired of these missing out on multiple offer situations and you're interested in, an area like Windsor, might be viable for you. You're steps away from the Bay of Fundy. Wolfville's a beautiful town right next door. You got lots of like little farmers markets and again vineyards. They got the Gasborough River that you can take a tube down in the summer, which is a good time. Anyway, so it's an interesting place to keep your eye on. So single family year over year percentage, an increase of 47.2%, and single family monthly comparison was 300,000 in November and $316,500 in December. So that about does it for me. If you watched the whole video, thank you very much. I hope you had a great holiday and a new year. I know out here everybody's kind of starting to freak out a bit again about COVID, but we'll get through that, I'm sure, quite quickly. Just stay warm. We got a huge snowstorm coming tomorrow, and today it's the 6th. I'm filming this on January 6th. It's like I saw some guy running with shorts and t-shirts on outside. So I'd like to see a bit more of that weather. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed. If you've got any other neighborhoods you'd like me to include on future videos, or anything I can do to improve this presentation, maybe there's a data point in there you think is kind of irrelevant, or maybe there's one you want to see, definitely comment below. I'd love it if you guys hit the like button or subscribed. Always looking for that positive feedback or any feedback. Other than that, have a great day and enjoy the month of January. We'll see you next month.